There's a moment researchers in Budapest captured on video that stuck with me. A woman walks up to a bucket. She touches it once with her hand. Then she walks away. Her dog, who's been standing on a blue carpet doing nothing in particular, isn't expected to do anything about it. A full hour passes. And then, with no warning, she turns to the dog and says, "Do it." The dog walks straight to the bucket and touches it with their paw. 1 hour later, with no reason to be paying attention in the first place. We're going to come back to that moment, because it tells you something about your dog you probably don't know. Most owners think their dog lives in the present, that they forget things quickly, that every day kind of resets. The science says the opposite. Your dog is carrying around a library of memories about you that's deeper, more specific, and more permanent than anyone gave them credit for. And the last thing on this list is the one that's been the heart of your relationship the entire time, and you didn't even know it. Let's start with the one your dog will never lose, not even at the end. 1. Your scent. If your dog forgets everything else, they will not forget how you smell. A dog's nose has roughly 220 million scent receptors, compared to our 5 million, and the olfactory bulb in their brain is wired directly into the hippocampus and amygdala, the same regions that handle long-term memory and emotion in humans. So when your dog smells you, they aren't just identifying a person, they're activating a network that pairs your specific chemical signature with every feeling they've ever had about you. That's why dogs recognize owners after years apart. Even owners who've gained weight, lost hair, started chemotherapy, come back from war. The face changes, the voice can crack, the body language can shift. The scent does not. Your dog has filed it away, the way you might remember the smell of your grandmother's kitchen. Except for them, it's not nostalgia, it's identification. There are countless documented cases of dogs reuniting with owners after 3, 5, even 10 years apart and recognizing them in seconds, not slowly working it out, immediately. Because the moment your scent hits the air, every memory attached to it lights up at once. To your dog, you are a smell, and that smell is permanent. 2. The first time you made them feel safe. This one isn't tested in a lab. It can't really be. But it's the most consistent thing trainers and behaviorists report about dogs who came from rough starts. Rescues, shelter dogs, dogs that were neglected. The first time someone made them feel safe, they don't forget. There's a moment, sometimes hours after coming home, sometimes weeks, when a dog who's been bracing for the worst finally exhales. Their shoulders drop. They sleep on their side for the first time. They eat without checking over their shoulder. Most owners describe the same thing, the moment the dog decided they could let go. Whatever happens after that, however long the dog lives, that moment stays. Dogs who were rescued as adults and lived another decade with one family will still, years later, react to certain sounds, certain tones of voice, certain corners of a room, in ways that only make sense if you understand. They remember when safe started, and they know exactly who delivered it. If your dog was a rescue, take this seriously. The day you brought them home is a permanent address in their memory. They may not understand the word forever, but they understand the feeling of it, and you're the one who introduced them to it. 3. The specific things you've done. This is where it gets surprising, because there's hard science here that even most dog owners have never heard. In 2016, a researcher named Claudia Fugazza at Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest published a study in the journal Current Biology that fundamentally changed how scientists think about animal memory. Her team used something called the do-as-I-do method, where dogs are trained to imitate actions their owner just performed. But the real test came when they removed the dog's expectation. They retrained the dogs to lie down after watching any action, regardless of what it was. So the dogs had no reason to memorize the action itself, just lie down. Then, after the dogs were used to that, the researchers ambushed them. Instead of saying, lie down, they suddenly said, do it, and the dogs could. They reproduced the exact action their owner had performed, even though they'd had no reason to remember it, even after a full hour. That ability, Recalling a specific event you weren't expecting to recall is called episodic memory. It used to be considered uniquely human. It isn't. Your dog has it. Which means your dog isn't just reacting to you in the moment. They're storing what you do, even when nothing about it seems important, even when you have no idea they're watching. The way you opened the door this morning, the tone you used on the phone, the time you knelt down and pressed your forehead against theirs for no reason. Your dog filed it. And if this is making you see your dog differently, hit subscribe. This kind of stuff is exactly what I'm here to dig into. 4. The people who were unkind to you. In 2015, a research team led by Hitomi Chijiwa at Kyoto University ran an experiment that should change the way you think about who your dog trusts and why. They had dogs watch their owner try to open a container and ask a nearby stranger for help. In one version, the stranger helped. In another version, the stranger deliberately refused, turned their head, looked at the floor. Afterward, that same stranger offered the dog a treat. When the stranger had helped, the dogs took the treat without hesitation. When the stranger had refused to help their owner, the dogs walked past the treat, past food, to a different person. Let that land for a second. Your dog turned down free food from someone who had been rude to you. Not to them, to you. They didn't lose anything. There was no fight, no aggression, no raised voices. They just watched, and they made a decision, and they remembered. The researchers called it third-party social evaluation, and at the time, it had never been documented in any non-primate species. Your dog is keeping track, not in a vengeful way, not consciously, but somewhere in the same memory system that holds your scent and your voice. There is a small, quiet list of people who didn't treat you right, and your dog has not forgotten a single name on it. 5. The sound of your voice. In 2014, a team at Utrecht University, the same lab that ran the episodic memory study, scanned the brains of dogs and humans inside an MRI while playing them different sounds. What they found was that dogs have a dedicated voice processing region in their brain, in roughly the same location as the equivalent region in humans. Your dog isn't just hearing your voice. They're processing it through a part of their brain built specifically for voices, and they're separating emotional content from the words. They know the difference between your happy voice and your worried voice. They know the difference between good morning and what did you do? And once your voice is in there, it's in there. Owners on long deployments report being able to call home and have their dog completely lose it at the sound of them through a speaker. Years into dementia, dogs will still light up at one specific voice and ignore everyone else. They're not recognizing words, they're recognizing you, which means every time you've spoken softly to them at the end of a hard day, every time you said their name in a tone you've never used with anyone else, every time you came home and called out from the front hall, you weren't just talking, you were depositing something, and it's still there. 6. How you made them feel. Remember the moment in the lab at the start of this video? The dog who walked straight to the bucket an hour after their owner touched it. I told you we'd come back to it. Here's what I think it really shows. When scientists talk about dog memory, they keep landing on the same word, associative. Dogs don't remember the way we do, replaying a moment like a movie. They remember through association. A scent connects to a feeling. A face connects to a feeling. A voice connects to a feeling. An action you took connects to a feeling. So when that dog walked over to the bucket, they weren't replaying a scene. They were following the feeling their owner left behind in that spot. Now look back at the other 5 things on this list. Your scent. The first time you made them feel safe. The specific things you've done. The people who were unkind to you. The sound of your voice. Every single one of those memories isn't really about the thing itself. It's about how that thing felt. Your scent equals safety. Your voice equals love. Your actions equal predictability. Cruelty toward you equals threat. Your dog is not building a photo album of you in their head. They are building an emotional map of you, and that map is the most lasting thing they will ever own, which means the way you make your dog feel today is not a small thing. It is not something they will forget by tomorrow. It is going into the map. The patience you show them when they don't deserve it. The way you say their name when you walk in the door. The quiet moments on the couch when you're not asking them to do anything. The hard days when you sat with them and they sat with you. None of that is lost on your dog. They are remembering all of it. And one day, years from now, when their face is gray and their hearing isn't what it was, and they don't recognize half the things in the room anymore, they will still recognize you, because everything they have ever felt about you is woven into the deepest part of their brain. So make sure the map is a good one. That's all your dog is asking. Tell me in the comments, has your dog ever reacted to someone in a way that made you realize they remembered something you'd forgotten? I read every comment, and the stories on this one are usually the best ones. See you in the next one.